Testing. 1, 2, 3. Testing. 1, 2, 3. Hello, hello, hello. Can you guys hear me? Can anyone hear me? Testing.
Yes, we can. Hi, Michael.
Hi. Um, we have a few minutes. Good to see this is working. We are recording as well. Everything seems fine. Okay. And I thought I allowed people to join on their own, but maybe not. Okay. Okay, I'll be back in a couple minutes, okay?
Who are you?
Hello, hello. Are you all there? Hello, Nigeria. Come in, Nigeria. Can you guys hear me?
Hi, Michael. Good morning. I can
Hello,
hear you for
everyone.
sure. Good morning.
Do you guys want to turn on your videos? I feel like I'm just staring into space right now. I'm tired of looking at my own face.
All right, this is Nigeria. Sometimes I'm sure some people are at work and stuff like that. But yeah, I'm here.
Okay, shop, shop. Hello.
Yes. Hello, good morning, everyone.
If I were there, I would go around the room shaking individual hands. Nice to meet you all. Please let me know if others are trying to join us, okay? Because I thought I clicked the button for people to admit themselves immediately, but maybe I need to press the button, okay? I'm recording, so let's keep this PG-13, okay? Clean language. You never know who's watching, all right? Should we give them a couple more minutes or the show must go on? What do you think? I think the show must go on. We have limited time, but a lot to cover. I'm going to, do you guys want to turn more cameras on? Okay, cool. So I guess we can begin, no?
Yes, we can begin, Michael. Good morning. So let me just introduce you. I've sent your profile to them so they know you. And they're eagerly waiting to drink from you this morning. So hopefully we're going to milk you dry. Be ready to be. Yeah, so the team is
I thought we were going to
excited.
keep this a clean conversation. All right, I'm sorry, go ahead.
So they're excited and we're just looking forward to learn from you this morning. And please take it over. You can
Okay.
just go right into it. Yeah.
All right, I'm going to try to squeeze an entire semester into 90 minutes. All right. First of all, sorry to disappoint any of you who thought you'd be meeting the real Michael Jordan. Okay. It's not as common name as John Smith in the US, but it's quite a common name. Anyway, I'm very happy to be here today to meet all of you. Let me admit, please let me know if someone's knocking on the door of our Zoom room and needs to be admitted. Okay, please just interrupt me. Okay. I'm going to be sharing my screen regularly, but you can see here the name of my presentation today. Can you see my screen?
Yes, I can.
Good. I'm calling today's training strategic storytelling, not just any kind of storytelling, but strategic. And of course, I'll explain what exactly that means. But specifically, we're going to talk about how you can produce humanized, what I call humanized, evidence-driven impact stories. Why? To prove your impact. Okay. So let me get started. Well, I guess I could change this to movie screen. Okay. I actually came up with an agenda today, okay? I'm going to talk, I want to start with talking about the big picture first. All right? Why exactly strategic storytelling matters. In fact, why global communications matters, okay? And forgive me if some of you guys already know this, but it's worth at least a refresher and for me to try to share my skills and strategies with you. That'll be, then we'll move from the big picture to MJ method. That's me, Michael Jordan's method, okay? Over the years, I'll explain a bit about my background. Over the years, I've developed my own toolkit of skills, strategies, and storytelling style. And from there, so just to let you know that my background is as an international journalist, a foreign correspondent. And all that I'm about to share with you is how over the years I've applied all my skills of international journalism, writing and reporting for Western and international newspapers, magazines, and news agencies, how I've applied all that to global communications, okay? That's what today is all about. Then once I talk about some of those broader, more general skills and strategies, I'll zero in on my fork in the road strategy. I call it the fork in the road strategy. And I'll tell you how I came up with it. I'll share with you a story about how I came up with this while I myself lived in Africa. I don't know if Imad mentioned this, but I spent 4 wonderful, memorable years, impactful years, living in Lesotho, down south, okay, high in the mountains of Southern Africa. And so I will talk about some of the global communications work and storytelling, strategic storytelling I did down in Lesotho, the tiny African kingdom of Lesotho, okay? Then I'll talk a bit specifically about the about impact stories and how to write them, okay? Then I'm going to look specifically at Tech Herfrica. How do you pronounce it, by the way? What's a nice way? Herfrica or Herafrica? Anyone? Herfrica?
Yes, Tech
Okay.
Africa.
Herafrica, yes? Okay. And like I said, then after analyzing some of the impact stories that I wrote in China, in Africa, then I moved to China. I was living in China as well. And I'll talk about that. Then I'll talk to you about how exactly, once I analyze your website, your annual impact reports. Okay, I'll look at different categories on your website. Then we'll talk about how exactly to produce an impact story, and we'll do some brainstorming. I'd be happy to strategize with you guys what sort of content you think you need, I think you need, and how we can move forward, perhaps even together. Because maybe there's the possibility of us having a workshop together where I'll lead you step by step through a workshop on how exactly to create these impact stories. Because of course, in our 90 minutes, we don't have that much time, but let's do as much as we can, okay? And please, if you have any questions, please raise your hand. Let me know somehow, okay? I don't want just to be lecturing the whole time. I'm here for you guys, okay? So let me begin. Oh, wait, I see all these chat messages. Should I be reading these simultaneously? Hello, hello, hi, applause, thank you. Okay, let me get back to my introduction, okay? So can everyone see this screen? I say we're swimming in a sea of brands, okay? All of us, NGOs, companies, government agencies, individual professionals like you, like me. I believe we are all a brand, okay? And we are often, almost always, competing with other brands, okay? Wait, I'm trying to switch to, okay. Now, I know I write a lot of text on my screen, but sometimes I even send my PPTs as a PDF to people to be able to read what I'm talking about, okay? But just to understand, just for you guys to understand, and I'll explain a bit more about this, my background is as an international journalist, okay? I've never worked full-time for an NGO, okay? I've never worked full-time in donor relations, having to try to raise funds for an NGO like yours. Although I have had projects of my own where I've tried to raise money on my own, okay? And just to let you know, because we are because we're, oh, that's a little noisy. If someone maybe wants to mute that, okay? We are all, as you know, in this sea, in this sea of brands. Maybe you guys want to mute at least during the presentation part, okay? In this sea of brands, when you are competing with other NGOs, as you know, as I wrote here, the world can be a scary place in terms of all the misinformation, disinformation, propaganda, fake news, lying, minimally exaggerating, okay? And so I believe this is a question of media literacy, okay? But then we also need to think about who our target audiences are, okay? And as you know, I wrote down here toward the bottom of this slide, as you know, there are donors out there, despite the fact that there are so many NGOs out there, all of them saying, please donate to us, we're doing excellent work. There are donors out there with money who are specifically looking for brands. What kind of brands? What kind of NGOs? Those that can prove that they are impactful, those that can really prove that they are making a difference. How do you prove? With real, concrete, credible, believable evidence, even verifiable, okay? Evidence that can be verified. So, and also for you to present it transparently. I'm going to explain this. Oh, why am I? This is very important. And I want us to keep this in mind always, okay? Our external communications objective for you as an NGO, even for me as an individual, is first of all, to prove that we are who we say we are. As you know, every day there are scammers approaching us saying that they represent this company or that NGO or individuals like me, okay? And so if I, as a smart but skeptical, even suspicious audience, I'm putting pressure on you to prove that you are who you say you are and that you actually do what you say you do. That's the number one objective. But the second one, as I write here, more challenging is the second objective, is to prove that we, or Tech Herfrica, is as good as you say you are, okay? I need to prove as an individual consultant and trainer and all that, I need to prove that I am as good as I say I am, okay? Now, why is that? I'll explain too much more about the audience we're dealing with, okay? And why we need to work hard to prove that we are as good, as impactful as we say we are, to convince that target audience, the donors, to open the purse strings, okay? To write you a check or send you money, whatever it may be. It's a high standard for us to be able to prove that we are not just who we say we are, but also as good as we say we are, okay? Now, very briefly, I'm going to, does it click like that? Very quickly, I'm just going to describe for you a bit about my journalistic journey, okay? I started out when I was age 24. I moved to Budapest. First of all, I went to journalism school, blah, blah, blah. First newspaper job. I first moved to Hungary in Central Europe. This is my father's hometown. I moved to Budapest when I was 24 years old, okay? And I've then step by step became a freelance foreign correspondent writing for newspapers and magazines. I'm not going to get into all that. That's a separate lecture and training, how to become an international journalist, okay? But I do want to share with you, first of all, actually, my first big break was in the former Yugoslavia. I'll share that with you because this is when I first became very interested in women's issues. Okay, I thought that would be relevant for Tech Herfrica. was that here I was there was war in the former Yugoslavia. Maybe this was before some of you were born, from 1992 to 1995. I was living in Hungary, okay, on former Yugoslavia's northern border, you can see there. And as a young foreign correspondent, I dipped my toe into the world of war reporting. And my very first story that I had published, okay, that built up my credibility, my own believability. I talk a lot about credibility, and we'll talk about your credibility, your NGO's credibility, your believability, okay? Because a smart, skeptical audience is going to wonder, are you really who you say you are? Are you as good as you say you are? And this article was the one story, my big break, was my first story that helped immediately give me credibility as a foreign correspondent. And it was about how the Serbs, the Bosnian Serbs, who were Orthodox Christian, it became a religious and ethnic war in the former Yugoslavia, okay? So the Serb Orthodox Christian generals gave orders to their troops to go into Bosnian Muslim villages, traditional conservative villages in the mountains, and they gave orders to rape the women, Bosnian Muslim women, okay? Orthodox Christian raping Muslim women. And many of these women then were so traumatized, understandably, that then they abandoned their babies, okay? Some threw them away, some gave them up, said, I cannot raise this baby because it reminds me of the soldier who raped me. And here I was as a young journalist, age 25 then. I heard about this situation. I went to an orphanage in Croatia, next door to Bosnia, where they were collecting and raising these Bosnian Muslim babies. And the very first story I wrote was published in the Miami Herald back then, about children of rape. Here's the article. I actually found it and I saved it in one of my boxes from 1995. You can see my name, okay? I'm sharing that with you. First, hope you, as I said, that I have grown to care about women's issues around the world. I also have a daughter who's 15 years old now, okay? So I care about these things for her and her future. But also that as you can see, my name is at the top, so this built up my own professional credibility, okay? Now, I don't want to speak too much about the journalism, okay? Then I had it published in other publications, okay? One of the main lessons that I learned, okay, because just going back to Hungary, if you see Hungary in the middle of Central Europe here, one by one, I began parachuting into all these different countries of Central and Eastern Europe as a young journalist, okay? And what I had to learn was how to sell my ideas, sell my stories to a Western audience, a foreign audience. And I'll mention this to you because you're doing something similar. You have a project, you think it's important, right? But it doesn't matter what only you think. You need to convince foreigners, even far away, that what you're doing is not only important, first of all, but and meaningful, but also the work that you're doing about the problem is actually impactful. Hey, we're making a difference, okay? So I learned this, just to let you know, that one of the most important lessons I learned, and I want to share with you, talking about audience, okay, is that there are basically, in the world today, there are two different kinds of audiences, okay? Every brand, okay, again, you, me, the governments, companies, everyone has a strong self-interest to say, I'm good at what I do. I'm wonderful at what I do. I doubt that any NGO like Tech Herfrica would say, we're so-so at what we do. We're kind of mediocre. Sometimes we're successful, sometimes we fail, okay? I myself have a strong interest to say I'm a good teacher trainer, okay? So what we have to do, we have to recognize that there are two different kinds of audiences. The first kind of audience is sheep-like. With all due respect, we all have, even members of our family and friends, maybe sheep-like, meaning that they follow blindly, unthinkingly. They believe what they hear, what they read, what they're told. They nod their head. Oh, did you hear that Trump is making America great again? Okay, without the need for evidence, without the need for proof, they say, we love him because he's making America great again. Really? Prove it. No need. Okay, they follow blindly like sheep. Okay, the second audience is our audience in general. These are the critical thinkers. Okay, they don't just consume and absorb everything that we say. They have higher standards. They demand that we work hard to prove to them that we really are as good as we claim to be, that our brand, that our product, our service is as good as we say it is, okay? And so the only way to do this, as I've learned, okay, if you have a skeptical mind, and guess what? Your donors are in this category. They have money. They're prepared to give it to organizations. But everyone's saying, all the NGOs are saying, we do good work. Give us money, okay? But they're going to say, no, 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 no. I'm not stupid, right? I'm not a sheep. I'm not just throwing my money around. Now we're smarter. We're demanding that you prove that you're doing what you say you're doing and that you're growing roots, actually impacting, and not just today and tomorrow, but maybe lasting, sustainable impacts on your beneficiaries. So then the pressure's on you to prove to this audience, this critical thinking audience, that we are having as much impact as we say we are. You can believe us, you can trust us. Please give to us those precious funds that you control, okay? So I could even ask, let me ask you guys, let me just pause for a moment here, okay? Stop the share. Who is your audience? Who exactly is your target audience? When you're publishing content on your website, when you're knocking on doors, okay? Who exactly is your target audience? Let's really start to visualize, because you know what? Many organizations like yours, they may put something online about us, who we are, what we do, without really visualizing who exactly is going to be receiving this, to visualize how they are consuming this. Is it touching their mind? Is it touching their hearts? Is it having impact, the things that you say about yourself? So let me ask you, who exactly is your target audience? Because this is very important. Because without visualizing, and I talk about this almost every day, I'm thinking about my target audience. Without visualizing who exactly our audience is, we're firing bullets into darkness. Our bullets, our content, being fired randomly in darkness. We hope it hits our target, okay? To be really smart and effective and impactful with our content, we should really visualize empathetically. We see our target, we imagine them sitting there. Now let's imagine them reading what we are producing or watching our stories if we're doing video, okay? Or listening if we're doing something audio, okay? Let's really think through. If I were to read what I just wrote, what we just published, would it touch my mind? Would it open my mind? Would it touch my heart? Okay. Would it make me want to give? Yes or no? Why or why not? So, Imad and the team, who exactly is your target audience, please?
Yes, so I'll let the team answer that question so that we also get a sense of our perspective as well. So team members, let's go. Answer the question. Thank you.
I see, wait, I'm checking out the chat here. I see some folks are actually saying, someone wrote, wait. Can I see our donors? Wait. Prove your credibility. Wait, social team, do not leave us. Wait, women, Uyanga, are you saying that women in rural communities are your audience? Maybe.
Yes.
Why? Why? In what way? Possibly, but go ahead, make your argument. Why would they potentially be reading your website or your social media channels?
Okay, I was looking at it from the other angle of target audience, the people Tech Herfrica wants to help, want to assist, not the people who would be reading about Tech Herfrica.
That's fair, but you know what? You know what? Women in rural communities may be. You know why? Because going through your website, I realize you have a little section there that says volunteers, right? Okay. Maybe you say, you know what? We need more volunteers. And they may say, well, who are you? Why should I volunteer for you? Please look at the work we're doing. Look at the meaningful work that we're doing. Okay. So maybe they would read the website or your social media channels. So that could be women in rural communities who say, I want to help. I see you guys. Now I read and see and hear that you guys are doing meaningful work. So now I want to join. So it is possible that women in rural communities could be consuming your content, okay? How about Rahima? I see our donors, the women we're trying to impact their lives, fellow people that could contribute. When you say fellow people, Rahima, when you say fellow people, do you mean individual donors that could contribute?
So I could good day, whether morning, afternoon, or evening, good day. Thank you for the session so far. So I meant like people that could contribute to our cause, like donors, sponsors, partners, and the likes. And now volunteers. I just like added that to the chat because I'm also a volunteer for Tech Herfrica, and I got to know about Tech Herfrica because of like the website, and I got interested in it. So yeah.
See, now that's good too, okay? You know what? One of the skills I want to share with you is the need for empathy, okay? Which is strategically to always imagine ourselves in the shoes of the person we're trying to communicate with. Even you guys right now, empathetically, before I created this PowerPoint, this training, I thought, if I were in their shoes, how would they benefit from what I'm about to say? In what way? Where might they be in terms of their own ability to communicate effectively? Should I start from the beginning? Should I assume nothing? Should I assume something? I was thinking through, okay? And will my words, my slides, my mini stories, will they impact you? So in this situation, Rahima, okay, if you're saying that you yourself have volunteered based on reading content and how that touched your heart, maybe inspired you, maybe convinced you, that organization seems like they're doing good work, good deeds. They seem real, right? I'm not going to be fooled. I'm not going to be lied to. They seem real. They seem serious. They seem impactful, right? So then you should transfer your own experience to your own content creation. If you're tweeting, right? If you're producing content or stories, like, if I were to try to attract someone like me when I was in their shoes, what might work, what might not work, why not, right? Okay. Precious says the United Nations, the United Nations is a big place, Precious. Which UN agencies are we talking about? Let's think specifically. Who exactly would you be targeting with this content? Precious, are you there?
Okay. Yes, I'm here.
Yes. Who?
Government organizations that have the same mission as we.
Like who?
Like we,
For example?
USAID.
And why? Let's think this through. Okay, this is really important for you guys. Even, you know, we could have a group discussion at another time, but even to think through, why exactly might they be interested in our content? Why exactly might they read it? Why exactly might they want to partner with us? Okay, they have their own motivations. We have our motivation, or we have our self-interest. They have their self-interest, right? So then to connect the two, to link the dots between the two, okay? You might say, well, the UN is interested, very passionate about the SDGs, the 17 sustainable development goals. we'll talk about that too, how you can present your work more believably, more credibly, more impactfully, okay? Let's see, our target audience, donors, potential partners, Heritage said partners and sponsors. Yes, those with money, okay? Let's make those our main target audience. And guess what? If you have money to give, again, empathy. If you had money to give, to whom would you give your money and why? Okay? Oh, I would just throw it around. Anyone with their hand out, I would give them money. No, you wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do that, right? It would be a high threshold. And so we need to step up our game, okay, collectively, and to work hard intellectually to do this, okay? So now we've begun to identify who our target audiences and even their thought processes, okay? Let me just get back to my slide presentation for a moment, okay? So I began to learn about audiences, all right? This is very important, okay? I call this, can you see this again, the slide? The intersection of self-interests, okay? I'm gonna apply this to you guys, okay? Oh, Tammy wants in, okay? Back when I was a young journalist, I thought through, hey, here's who I am. I have my self-interest. We're going to apply this to Tech Herfrica in a moment, okay? What is my self-interest? My self-interest was to sell my ideas, sell my stories, get them published, get paid, not just to work for free, get paid. Even to travel for free. I wanted editors and newspapers to send me to different countries. That was my self-interest. How am I going to do this, right? Also, I said, I want to make my boss happy, the editor happy. Why? Because I want them to give me more assignments, right? And ultimately, I wanted to climb the career ladder. And then I realized, well, this is who I am. This is my product, my brand. Is there any consumer out there? Okay, any takers? And then I realized, of course, there are editors out there, okay? But let me be smart about this. What's their self-interest, okay? I realized that there were newspapers and foreign editors, I thought through, who want to buy top quality stories. Why? For their smart, curious audience to read, watch, listen to. Why might they buy my story? Because maybe their own correspondent doesn't have that kind of reach. Maybe they're not traveling to the countries where I'm prepared to travel to, okay? And at the same time, they also have advertisers. And so they were also thinking about how to produce enough interesting, even important content to make the advertisers happy and to want to continue advertising. And what I realized was in the middle here, can you see in the middle of the two circles, it's one on top of the other. There's an intersection, there's an overlap, which is for me to think strategically and smartly. Can I push the right button? Okay. Now here, let me apply this to you, to your NGO. Again, let's be smart about this, right? You think through what is our self-interest, okay? Which is to keep the operation going, to keep your own people employed. How does that work? You need money, right? You need how to keep your to keep your programs going. You need money to make them successful. You need more money, right? Maybe you need partners. Why? Okay, for obvious reasons too. You need volunteers, let's say, okay? You need trainees to participate. So you're identifying all of your needs, just to be very clear. Is there some consumer out there? Okay, yes, actually there are donors out there. Even speaking with Imad, there are international donors who have money they want to give. That is their job, is to give money to NGOs. Okay, good news. There are local potential donors. Imad and I discussed even like a Sterling Bank, okay? They have money they want to give. It's for us to think through, why exactly would Sterling Bank want to give? What's their motivation to want to give, and give to whom? Why? Why might they want to give to us? we have to prove to them, okay? So then, if we match up these two circles, there's an overlap that we're looking for money for our meaningful, impactful program. And hey, there are donors that are looking to give to meaningful, impactful organizations like ours. So how can we push the right button? Okay. Any questions about this so far? I know I'm going quickly, but I would love to hear if there are any questions. Okay. Anyone? Can you guys hear still? You're still with me?
Yes, I'm with you. I'm sure they're
Okay,
with you as well. I'm not sure their
good,
question.
good. All right, you let me know. Oh, wait, I see a message in the chat. Hold on. Okay, good. Thank you, Favor. Okay, so, I'm sorry, I should have clicked on the next screen, our organizational self-interest and the donor partner self-interest. See, I have a slide for that too, okay? All right. You see that the donor may, or the partner wants to show, okay, that they are contributing to credible, believable organizations like yours with capacity. It's not just a two-person operation, okay? On the front lines, that you're actually out there doing what you say you're doing. You got to prove all this, right? And then, as I said in the next line here, publicly prove to the public, or let's say the media, or let's say to the government, or your stakeholders, or whomever. They need to prove that they are supporting impactful causes, okay, meaningful causes, all right? And they may be looking for a win-win, okay? So then the question is how to push the right button. As I wrote, by the way, as I wrote at the bottom of the screen, can you see these two lines? Both sides have a need to persuasively convince a skeptical audience, okay? Because a skeptical audience would say, is this NGO, Tech Herfrica, really doing what you say you're doing and doing it well? They may also be very skeptical about the donor who says, we are giving back to society, okay? We, in our own way, are making a difference, says Sterling Bank. We're not just here to do business and to make profits. We're also giving back and supporting our own society, okay? They have pressure too to prove that, okay? And then the second line I said was, an impact story can be a win-win that proves impact for both sides, okay? Wait, I see another. Okay, Churchill, thank you. Yes, we're with you. All right. So before I move on to my Lesotho example, living in Lesotho for 4 years, I want to share one thing with you. What I called immodestly, naming it after myself, the Jordan 4-step formula, okay? That I want each of you, and Imad, this would be great for you guys to practice next time you have a staff meeting around the table, around the conference room table. And if anyone has an idea, okay, even to learn to present it this way. First of all, the 4 steps are who, what, why, and how, okay? The first step, we've already covered. Who exactly is my audience or our audience? Why are they our audience? Why would or should they remember? Wait, no, what did I say? Should they read this content? Okay. What can they learn from it? Or in what way can they benefit from it? Why should they care? If they're reading something, you have to think through. You can't just say, here's our annual report. Here's where we've been mentioned in the media. Here are our publications. Why should they click on that and read? We have to give them a reason to read, okay? Next, okay, now that we can visualize our target audience, what exactly do we want to say to that target audience? What do we want to write? What point do we want to make? What argument do we want to make? What idea are we proposing? What message are we delivering directly to their heart, directly to their mind? What story do we want to tell? Whatever it is, all right? I use this formula for all my communications, thinking through, okay? Number 3, though, is more difficult. It's one thing to say, yeah, let's say this. Let's write about that. Boom, boom, boom. All right, that's a good start. But then we have to justify, we have to defend, which is why exactly do we want to say make this point or argument? Why exactly do we want to deliver this message or that message? Okay. More than that, with empathy, imagining why exactly would my audience find the point or argument or idea message interesting or important? Okay. Why would it resonate or reverberate, have some impact on them? Okay. By the way, I see Imad, but can others turn on their cameras? I want to see more faces. Just maybe it's me, but I just want to make sure that people are not falling asleep on me. Okay, that we're as engaged as possible. Thank you all. All right, good to see you all. Okay, now wait, wait, no. But in number three, and this is important. I actually you can say, okay, but Michael, how do we identify why exactly we want to make this argument or make this point or produce this content? I have an answer. I came up with a filter, okay, which is down here to answer. I clicked on it, so sensitive. To answer this essential key question, finish this sentence. Let's visualize our audience, okay? My reader or our audience should find this piece of writing, should find this content interesting, at least, if not important as well. They should find it interesting at least because ... And we should finish that sentence, okay? We should make the case for why we should even write. If you say, hey, let's write about our partners, I would say, why write about your partnership? Why exactly write about that? And it was like, all right, well, let's think about this. Hey, we're looking for more partners, more partnerships. But why would they join us? What would prevent them from joining us? Maybe they're only looking for partners they can trust. In that case, let's write about our partnerships, but proving that we have become a trusted partner. Okay, that's a nice core message, that we are a trusted partner. We support that core message with evidence to show, not just to tell, that we're a trusted partner, to prove that we're a trusted partner for others. And then the message is sent to the reader. We're looking for trusted partners. And it looks like they've been trusted partners with UN agencies, with others. So then the wall of suspicion, there's a wall of suspicion, right? When I come across you guys, why should I believe this Tech Herfrica is a real organization or doing real meaningful work? I'm suspicious. I'm skeptical. There's a wall there between you and me. Okay, I'm your test audience, okay, when I read your content, right? And so your challenge is to lower that wall of suspicion and skepticism, and then to build a bridge, I like to say, lower the wall and build a bridge of understanding, of even trust. And one way you can do that with your words is with evidence-based, evidence-driven content to prove that you guys are who you say you are and as good as you say you are, okay? That's what I've learned from my journalism and my global communications, okay? Any questions about that?
Any question, guys? Do we have questions, concerns? Let's hear it.
I see a hand up.
Don't fund me.
Go ahead, fund me.
Okay. Thank you so much, MJ, so far. I just want us to drill deeper into this last section you shared.
Yes.
There are times you're trying to share like a piece, say we decide to do like an article, and your target audience is not just, say, one local corporate. At the same time, you're trying to speak in that communication piece to both a local corporate and, say, an international donor. And sometimes the angle, for example, for the local corporates might be coming from, I as a writer, trying to get the local corporate to think more from the impact of giving, or trying to get them to say, okay, is there a way you can channel some of your CSR funds to support my initiative? Well, if I'm trying to talk to an international donor, my narrative might be different. So in that world, how do you then effectively bring all these various stakeholders or these various audience together in one piece? Also mindful of the fact that in today's world, it feels like everybody has a bit of short attention span. So you can't have long pieces out there. How do you strike the balance? Do you just take a position to say, I'm writing this piece or I'm putting out this piece and I just focus on this class of audience? Or there's a smart way to always put out a balanced piece that is talking to multiple people at the same time? Thank you.
Well, that's a great question. That's a great question. Look, there are a couple of ways to do this, and I'll talk about in a few minutes. I'll talk about specifically how to write some of these feature stories. Okay, some of these impact stories. I would say the short answer is that if I were working with you guys, okay, and we were to have a nice brainstorming session, I think we'll have some time. We're going to go 90 minutes today. I would say, let's identify all our different target audiences and let's come up with some specific content for them. Okay, that's a great question. If you say, hey, we're looking for domestic partners, right? And we're looking for international partners. A domestic partner who reads about international partnership may say, well, that's not really us. We, Sterling Bank, have slightly different motivations than the UN. Okay, we are a for-profit company with maybe a philanthropy. We give funds, but we're not like the UN, right? So I would say, you know what? Over time, we could plot out, let's say Imad and I talked about the possibility of a workshop where maybe 5 of you, I would lead 5 of you, okay, through the workshop, through creating a piece of content. I would say each of the 5 of you, let's come up with a piece of content strategic. Let's think about 5 different audiences you want to target, okay? And yours, Funmi, might be local. We want local donors, local partners. So let me focus on showing how we've brought benefit, how we've earned the trust of local partners, and we brought benefit. We created a win-win for both sides through local partnership, okay? And then someone else says, okay, I'm going to focus on international organizations. And the reason is, just to be clear, if you were to look at my LinkedIn right now, okay, or whenever, I myself am doing these same exact things. I'm following the same exact strategy, okay? I do global communications, but I do many things within global communications. I do media relations. I do executive writing. I do executive coaching. I do training. I don't just send out one piece and say, hey, to learn more about me, okay? I have now created enough content where I know if I'm targeting a client for media relations, I send them a link to the piece on my LinkedIn profile to learn more about my work with and impact upon my media relations clients. Read this, for example, okay? So I send them some broader content about me as a global communications specialist, but I also now specifically target executive coaching. I wrote about it, okay? Executive writing, I wrote about it, okay? So I do all these things because I ain't no dummy. So I'm also thinking strategically because these things take time and effort. And that's why, we could together come up with a game plan, even a communications plan, which is step by step. All right, we need evidence, but we need content for different audiences when the need arises. If we send off a proposal to an international organization, we need something to prove that we've created win-win partnerships with international partners, okay? We can't just say, trust us, take our word for it, visit our website. Look, aren't we doing good, okay? We need to be more targeted. Now, the second thing, just to answer your question, is you could, to begin with, let's say, we could write one piece that we say, all right, we need a piece to show our positive impact on partners, okay? And so it could focus on either one, international or local partners, okay? We open colorfully with storytelling, okay? We think through, there's a core message. What's our core message? We need to prove that we are a trusted partner that brings benefit to both partners. Let's say that. Okay, so now that's an excellent core message. We need to support that with some evidence. All right, let's think through. If we talk about this partnership, here's one key point, a second key point, third key point, right? Now, how do we want to tell the story? Colorfully, humanizing, okay? Individuals maybe on both sides, okay? And again, we'll talk about this. So core message supported by concrete, credible, believable evidence, folded into a humanized, compelling story because I've thought this through a lot, almost every day, in fact, for years now, which is the evidence can touch the mind of a skeptic and the humanized content can touch the heart of a skeptic, okay? I went through your annual impact report. I see you guys have the start of some good content, but I have some ideas, many ideas, for how to improve your content there. But just to answer your question, Funmi, I know I'm answering a very long-winded way, okay? But if you say, okay, Michael, we don't have time, we don't have capacity to write so many different stories, so much content, how about one piece on partners? So it could open, your story could open with either a local or international partnership, okay? Or if you're gonna say, you know what, maybe we should focus on the local partner because an international partner would nod their head like, oh, that's good. We want you to find local partners too. We can't support you forever. Okay. You need to be able to support yourself locally, domestically, right? So they might be more persuaded, even if you open with the local story, let's say, of the local partnership, right? But if you show the international UN agency funding story to a local partner, they may feel, but that's far away from us, right? Maybe. And I can't see the connection. We're not the UN. We're just a local, maybe there's some rich Nigerian guy who wants to give back to society, right? And so I can't relate to the UN and the benefits that they receive from this partnership, okay? Different motivations, SDGs and all that. You see what I mean? Fund me. Okay, so we'll talk about absolutely the difference in storytelling between those approaches. But yes, the short answer to what you're saying is yes. Strategically, you can do both, but it requires some strategizing, not just you on your own, maybe you with your colleagues. Let's think about this. Let's be smart about if we can only produce one piece of content now, how should we do it and why? Who's our target audience? How do we want to present it? Why that way? Okay. Oh, I forgot to even mention. Let me go back to, does anyone else have a question, by the way? Any other questions? I'm happy to answer questions. Okay. I forgot, going back to the screen, I forgot to mention the fourth point. Sorry. Once we have this strong argument for why exactly, as Funmi mentioned, if we say, okay, we want to create that piece of content, why exactly? Because we need to persuade skeptical partners that we are impactful, that we really can touch and impact our beneficiaries, and B, that it's good for the partner too. The partner can put on their website, oh, look at our local partners. We're doing good for society as well by supporting them, let's say, right? Then the fourth point is the how. Okay, we agree that this is what we're going to do, but how exactly are we going to tell the story? Showing this partnership or that program, that individual, As you see here, the how, with what facts, evidence, details, examples. It could be which graphics, which photos, okay? Which graphs. Maybe we have some statistics. Which statistics are we going to include in there, okay? Then to think through the pieces of the puzzle we want to bring together to tell that story, okay? That piece of strategic storytelling, all right? Now, a quick story. I want to tell you a quick story of me living in Lesotho. Where are you guys on camera? I only see Funmi, which is nice to see, but how about more faces? Especially now I'm talking about Africa. I want to see African faces. You guys are making me miss Africa. I spent 4 years living in Lesotho. I don't know if any of you have been down there. Here's Lesotho, uniquely surrounded entirely by South Africa, okay? It's a very remote country. We would fly into, by the way, just to let you know, I followed my wife, who's now my ex-wife, but I followed my ex-wife and our 3 kids to Lesotho. We were there for 4 years, and she was working for the UN, okay? I followed her to this tiny African kingdom high in the mountains of Southern Africa. These are some of my photos. These are the Basotho people. And this, I began, when I moved there, I realized this was unlike any other place I'd lived or traveled before. I could see how dramatic, how extreme the health crisis there was in Lesotho. They suffer from the world's 2nd highest rate of HIV infection, okay? HIV, 23% of the most sexually active population was HIV infected while I was living there. So of all the population from 16 to 49, they said the most sexually active, 23%, meaning literally every single family was touched by HIV there, okay? I could see this. And I said, you know what? I've been a journalist. By then, I was also a university professor teaching courses in international journalism. I said, I need to get involved. And so then I branched into health communications, and I began leading different HIV journalism trainings and trainings with local Basotho journalists and Basotho activists on how to create this content. That's in Lesotho was where I first began to apply my international journalism to global communications, okay? So this photo is of immunizations. This is me taking a photo. Wait, I see more people chatting. Hold on, wait, okay. Oh, shoot, wait. So then I began to apply my journalism skills to global communication. And guess what? I began writing about it too, because I'm always thinking about building my own brand, okay? So I couldn't just keep it to myself. As an individual freelancer for so many years, I wrote about on LinkedIn, I wrote an essay about how I was applying international journalism to global communications. Now, let me share with you though, let me share with you my most memorable project, and this is relevant to you guys, okay? My most memorable project there was for an organization called MSH, an American NGO called Management Sciences for Health, okay? And MSH hired me there in Lesotho because they had a 5-year program for HIV orphans, okay? HIV orphans in Lesotho and their caregivers. And after 5 years, guess what? They needed more money, but their Western donors in the US and in Washington, the US Agency for International Development said, you know what? Your program for HIV orphans sounds wonderful, but why should we believe you? We need proof. We need evidence that you've actually had impact in the 5 years that you've been there, okay? Same challenges you guys face, okay? Now, they hired me to go up into the mountains to interview and photograph. I took all these photos too, to interview and photograph 24 of their beneficiaries, okay? And to write up their stories. As you see, I wrote this story about this woman, and we thought strategically, why tell her story? You know why? Because she was HIV positive. And they said, we want people to know that if you are HIV positive, it's not a death sentence, okay? It doesn't mean you're going to die for sure. Come, get tested, test positive, get on the drugs, the meds, the antiretroviral treatments, and you can live the rest of your life. Not only that, but we want women to know, like this woman, that even if you're HIV positive, you can still have babies who are HIV negative. Okay? But that's only if you come and you get on the meds. You listen to what we're saying and you get on the meds. So we thought strategically to tell that story, to send that message, we need to find one example, one symbolic example. She became a symbol of a broader trend, okay? I interviewed her. I told her story, okay? And and then those 24 stories were published in a book, an ebook called Voices from the Mountains of Lesotho. That was also my photo. That's my photo. And you see, but then I wrote about, while doing this, this is where I developed my strategy, which I call the fork in the road, a communication strategy to prove and illuminate, to bring light onto your impact. And that's what I want to share with all of you today. My fork in the road strategy to interviewing and storytelling. Okay. Let me explain to you. Let me explain to you how it works. Oh, I'm gonna zip ahead. Okay. Can everyone see this diagram? Okay. This is what I want you guys to be doing too. Okay. The fork in the road is simply a story of before and after. Okay. Someone needs to turn off the their sound, to mute. I hear the too much feedback there. Okay. Let me explain how this works. It begins at the bottom of this arrow. You see that? Okay. At the bottom, someone is living their life. Okay. These women were living their lives, doing X, doing Y, doing Z. We describe in some detail, some key, relevant, necessary detail to describe maybe how difficult their lives were. Okay. I'll show you your impact stories in your annual report. You guys, whoever wrote those, good starts. Okay. Some detail, but not enough to show how difficult their lives are in Nigeria as an individual woman in rural Nigeria. Okay. If it's cassava, if it's whatever it is, that show not just how difficult her life is, but how difficult the life is for her children, because she's struggling individually, picking and mortar and pestle and all that, then selling individually, maybe eggs, maybe cassava, what have you, right? You describe how difficult her life is. She's living her life, and then she hits a fork in the road, okay? She could continue with her life. Did I lose you guys? Did you freeze? No? Okay, you're still there? This is the storytelling, okay? You see, she could go off to the left, okay? She could continue living her life the way she's living. She is struggling economically. Her children are struggling. Maybe she doesn't have enough to buy them a school uniform or to buy their books or to send them on to university or to feed them enough during the day. Maybe they suffer health problems because they're not able to eat enough protein, because she's not able to earn enough. Maybe you're describing a struggle, and she could have continued her life in that path. And you could say, we can describe that. But at the fork in the road, she could have gone to the left, but at the fork, there's a knock on the door. Okay. Maybe she reads or hears about Tech Herfrica, has a training. Ooh, who's Tech Herfrica? I've never heard of them. Who are they? Are they trying to cheat me? Are they trying to steal from me? Are they lying? Are they real? So then also you need to convince them, I'm sure, that you are who you say you are. You're there to help. She says, I'm going to trust them. I'm going to go off in this direction to the right. I'm going to come to your training. Okay. So that knock on the door It could be a real knock on the door or a virtual knock on her. She gets a text on her phone. She hears from a neighbor. She hears from her local church leader, whatever it is, okay, or in the media. She reads the story about you guys. So that knock on the door is an intervention. You're now intervening in her life, and she decides to ignore it. I don't believe them. I don't trust them. I'll do my own thing and continue to struggle, and my kid's struggling. Or they believe you. They come to your training, your workshop, okay? And then you, in your story, you document clearly, step by step, and then this happened, then that happened. And you guys do that well, but we're looking at the impact, okay? How it began to actually change their lives, okay? I see, Imad and Funmi, and throughout your content, you're talking about breaking the cycle of poverty. Yes? Okay? So let's be very clear. I want you guys with your content to show the poverty, okay? Show the difficulty of their lives for them, but especially for their families, for their children, for their children's future, okay? And now when you say step by step, then this happened. Then we gave her a phone. We showed her how to use it. We showed her how to purchase. We showed her how to sell. We showed step by step. Now she's able to sell more, earning more money. What does she do with that money? Now she was able to buy a new school uniform that the kids don't have to keep washing the same one every day, okay? Or wearing the same one, maybe unclean. Okay, I saw this in Lesotho. I saw and heard lots of stories. Sad stories about families that couldn't afford soap, right? Okay. And so then if you're able to help women who are now raising the living standards for their children, then say that, okay? And now suddenly, Fatima, I saw one example. I'm trying to remember others. Now suddenly, if they have dreams that now I can even send my child to university, and now suddenly their future looks brighter, okay? Maybe, right? Then that is you guys helping to break the cycle of poverty in your own way, right? Okay? So that should be a core message versus, oh, she learned and things are going better, right? But big picture, what does that mean? Okay? That for each woman we can help this way, we're helping her, her family, her community, and breaking the cycle of poverty, giving her children a better opportunity, a brighter future than she had, okay? Because we're arming her with the skills and the technology to do that, okay? Any questions about that? Because in Lesotho, this is what I learned to do, which was each time this MSH knocked on the door, and now let me document, and then what happened, then what happened, then what happened, okay? But how did this change your life? Big picture, how did this affect the community? Because then this woman believed MSH, came down from the mountains to the health clinic when they said, you can have a healthy baby if you take these medicines once a month, and if you come visit the clinic once a month. Okay, I'll trust you. I'll believe you. She did. And guess what? She gave birth to an HIV negative baby. And then that becomes a story. Okay, right? Okay, but she becomes an example of she is not alone. Okay, that's something else. Wait, let me just say one more thing, guys. Okay, hold on. I want to show you. Yes, this slide. You see this? Going back to what Funmi was saying, and even looking at your annual report, what I saw in your annual report, your impact reports, was too many stories on the left. And for all you guys who are creating content, please listen to this, okay? It's a very important point that there are ways to write, either in a simple feature, like, oh, we're telling the story of Mary. We're telling the story of Fatima, okay, whatever it may be. But then that just focuses on her, and she may be unique. She may be special. Of course she is in her own way. But you guys, what I saw, you're writing just a simple feature on her, okay? Instead, You see my diamond story structure, okay? We open with her, right? But then we make clear, we ask ourselves, is Fatima, is Mary unique? Sure, she's unique in her own way. Or is she part of a broader pattern or trend? Yes, she is. What do you mean? She's one of 86 women whom we helped with the banking. Ooh, 86. Are those the only 86 you've helped? No, 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 no. We've helped hundreds. We've touched thousands. Then let's say that, okay? So now Fatima or Mary becomes a symbolic example. We open with her story, and then we say something like, but Mary or Fatima is not alone. She's one of hundreds, one of thousands whom Tech Herfrica has reached and impacted or given this technology to and armed them with the skills or helped bring them to market or helped involve them in the banking system, whatever it may be, okay? And suddenly, Funmi, if you're writing these, okay, suddenly your one simple feature about one person now becomes a feature story on 1,000 women you're helping, okay? Because she's a symbolic example. And you do the same thing with partners. Maybe you have a dozen partners, okay? Let me write one, open, focusing on the partner. But then we connect the dots. Is that one partner unique? Yes, in their own way. But are they part of a broader pattern or trend? Yes. We have many partners and we're working with them to have impact. So then that one story, you connect the dots, but that organization, that partner is not alone. They're one of a dozen of our local and international partners, okay, with whom we've developed a deep and trusting relationship, right, where they've continuously funded us, believe in us. They've also satisfied their own donors, their own partners, because they see the impact, okay? You see what I mean? So then that one story can represent something much broader. And that's why, guys, that's why, if you ask me, you may have been thinking, oh, does Michael want us to write hundreds of stories, create hundreds of pieces of content? No, strategically, we could write 3, 5, 8, 10 that can cover all of your clients, all of your beneficiaries, but it requires us to be smart and strategic about which ones are most representative. Just like I said with me, I don't write 10 pieces about my executive coaching with individuals or my trainings with NGOs, international NGOs like yours. I write 1 or 2 and I say, Tech Herfrica is one of dozens of NGOs whom I've trained. From this blank, blank, blank in Asia to these organizations, blank, blank, blank in Africa. And that's all in one story. I don't have to write something about each and every of my trainings. You see what I mean? I'm trying to give it, I don't want to be the kind of trainer who says, do as I say, but do as I do, okay? I'm taking my own advice, all right? I'm drinking my own milk, okay? Here, let me take a little break right now. Any questions, please? I'm working hard for you guys. Whew, let me get some water. Any questions, please?
Let's hear from all of us. Any questions,
Oh,
comments, clarifications?
oh, I see one in the chat. Here, wait a minute. I see a question that says,
Hi, Michael.
What's that? Yes, I see. Was that your question? Wait, how do we keep the storytelling from being repetitive, considering the fact that we engage with a lot of women and their stories are quite similar? That's a great question.
Just as a continuation, just before you answer the question, as a continuation of that same question, how do we sustain the storytelling, right? So if, for example, we want to turn, 10 simple features into the broader context, how do we sustain these stories of these particular women that we've chosen over time, right? So for example, we want to create content for social media or for our blog posts. So how do we sustain this storytelling? How do we sustain this content spread across like a long period of time?
That's a great question. So that's why every time, I don't know who your editor-in-chief is, okay? But I'm imagining you guys sitting around a conference room table saying, let's talk about the kind of content we need, all right? And don't just say, how about a story about this, a story about that? I want each of you to defend, to justify why that story and how is it unique, right? Well, we need a story about bank accounts, right? We need a story about someone going to market. We need a story about someone now learning the technology, right? So that's how you can say, you know, we don't want to be repetitive. We want each one to, in a subtle way, right, to tell a different story, to have a different core message, because we need to use this content in different ways, okay, to bring to light the scope of all that we're doing, right? Let's be very strategic about that content, right? Now, just to be clear, you're not talking about the repetitiveness of the style of storytelling, or are you?
No, I'm not. I'm talking
Right.
about each individual story.
Right, right. That's why, you know what, when I've taught students international journalism, most recently in China while living in China, I was teaching graduate students there. I make my students and my colleagues, if I'm training you guys, make you work hard to justify and defend. Okay, if Imad says I want to write about that, and Funmi says I want to write about that, and I say it's too similar. In what way are these stories different, and why? Okay, what objective are we achieving with your piece of content? Okay, and so I want, whether it's a student or a trainee, communications pro, I want to force you guys to stop and stroke your chin. Let's think about this, okay? Because that's good for you too, as the writer, as a content creator, because then that gives you a nice clear focus when you're interviewing someone or when you're researching. Hey, the focus of my story right now is this, okay? Is that. I don't know if Imad, I don't know if you sent that piece that I just published yesterday on my LinkedIn, okay? But just a couple weeks ago, I was in Las Vegas. I guess I could show it. I guess I could show it online. Hold on. Hold on. I'm going to show what I just wrote, okay? Here, I'm sharing the screen because then I want to quickly now look at your website, okay? This, by the way, guys, can you see my LinkedIn platform? You see me here? Can you see my LinkedIn? Yes? Yeah? Okay. And so here is my newsletter. I call it the Global Communications Toolkit, right? I have oh, shoot. Hold on, let me get the door, okay? I'll be right back. Hold on. Never mind. Are you guys there? Can you hear me? Yeah, you're back. I just wrote this piece. I just published this piece, this essay. Look at the title. Can you see it? Why global-minded companies need global communications, especially Chinese companies, okay? And I thought to myself, I've written about my global communications before, but I thought specifically, I want to be able to send some content looking for more Chinese clients, okay? Shoot. Can you hold on, please? I'll try to be as quick as possible. Sorry. Okay. Okay. Sorry about that. The point is I thought to myself, I don't want to just write just to write because I love to see my name, okay? Or I want more likes from people, okay? I thought I need content to be able to send to other future Chinese clients to make the arguments, not just verbally, but I can say, to learn more about why you, Chinese company, need global communications consulting. Read my article, okay? And I put some evidence based on my own experience in there, okay? So that's why, just to be clear, that I'm always thinking strategically about, I'm not going to be repetitive. I want to add to the body of work, okay? And so for example, Imad and Funmi, every time you have a new kind of training, right? Maybe an old training with a twist, a new twist or something, then maybe it's worth writing about how we have adapted. We've taken our lessons learned from previous trainings, okay? And best practices, what worked and why, what didn't work and why. And now we've adapted, we've modified. So then that may be worthwhile because why? Well, that can show that you're learning and honing, refining, improving what you're doing to always with the goal of being more and more effective and impactful with your trainings. You see what I mean? I mean, definitely the point is just to make an argument for why exactly you're doing what you're doing. Okay. Questions?
Not for me, Michael.
Yes.
But I'm very happy because I mean you're putting things in perspective and the team begins to see. So some of these things we do them informally, just from experience knowledge. So it just makes sense that you're answering some of the questions that have also been asked over time. And I'm sure all of us as a team were seeing the reasons why we do certain things and why things need to improve. And we're also just retrospecting to say, how can we better tell these stories? How can we better? Because from what you're saying is a lifestyle. It means that if I'm speaking, if I'm writing a letter, if I'm doing a caption, if I'm even doing a WhatsApp status update, I should bear all of these things you're saying in mind to say, how is this different from what I've said before? And how does this represent what we are all trying to see in the long run? So I'm really happy that the team is following, and I'm sure that if they have questions, they will put it in the chat, so be rest assured.
Good. You're absolutely right. You said lifestyle. You're absolutely right. It's with all due respect to you guys, but I see this all the time around the world. Okay, this is why it excites me, which is it's a change of mindset. Okay, it's really about changing your mindset, which is think before we communicate, even with an email, even with a tweet, whatever it is. Like whoa. Before I even get excited about typing something, all right, let me think about who is my target audience? Who's going to be reading this or receiving this? It always starts with consider your audience first. Who are they? Why? What are we trying to achieve with them? Why or why not? Why they would even read or care? So really, on that level, it's even communicating with your own children, your own parents, your friends, boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife, whatever it is. Sometimes, what am I trying to achieve with this strategic communications, right? Why and how am I going to do this? Okay, it's not just, let's make ourselves smarter. It's actually coming up with a strategy to think through how exactly to do this and why it might or might not work, and then to adapt. Okay. You know what I'd like to do? I took a lot of notes regarding the website. Can I show you concretely things that I would improve about the website, just to apply some of these skills and strategies to you guys? I know we're running out of time. Okay.
Yes, we're happy for you to show us because we have our other CEO friends who are on this call. So it'll be good for them to see, and we also see how we can do it better.
Good. Thank
Don't
you.
mind. Do you guys mind? No. I've answered for them.
Yes, they are going to be for the other friends on the line on the call. We're going to make Tech Herfrica the guinea pig. We are going to be they're going to be the lab rats. Okay, we're going to experiment on them. All right. So
and Tammy, please take note. Just in case Obet is not here, so please take note because we're going to implement those changes with Obet. Okay, Tammy, if you're here, just say hi. All right, thank you, Michael. You can go ahead, please.
All right, hold on. Let me find my documents. I somehow hold on, please. Where is it? Hold on, please. Okay. I want to show the website too. Okay. Okay, hold on. Let me now share the screen. Gosh, I have way too many screens open right now. Okay. Okay. So here's your website, right? Can you see your website? Yes? You guys can see it, right? Okay.
Yes, you can see it.
Now, remember, I'm the test audience, okay? I'm learning about you guys. I'm skeptical. I'm smart enough and skeptical. I won't say suspicious, but I'm skeptical. I don't just believe anything I see. I ain't no sheep, okay? So I'm a critical thinker here, right? And I'm open-minded. I'm open to being convinced and persuaded, okay? Now, so I started from the top, okay? And I'm looking at all these images, okay? And I must say, there's a certain feeling I get, a certain message in reading this, which is one of, and you tell me if I'm off here. Basically, you're sending a message to the audience, which is, look how unfair it is that rural women are underserved, okay? They are neglected, right? They don't have the same technology. They don't have the same access. They don't receive the same amount of attention as urban people in general, especially men, right? So on the one hand, there's the male-female dynamic about how women are treated versus men. On the other hand, there's the urban versus rural dynamic, right? And the message I get is that this is unfair and even prejudice, and you, dear audience member, should care about correcting this unfairness, okay? When actually, I think we should start with the bigger picture, okay? There's a bigger picture message that I learned when I got my master's degree in New York a number of years ago. I'll never forget one thing that one of my professors said. They said, for any developing country, the most impactful way to help a country develop in terms of its GDP, okay, is to educate their girls and their women, okay? Educate the girls and the women, because so many countries are ignoring or neglecting half of the potential workforce. They're focusing so much on the men, ignoring the women for whatever reason, okay? We don't need to get into traditions and culture and politics and all that. But I just remember them saying, and there have been studies, the World Bank and others have said, the number one thing that countries need to do, especially in Africa, is to make sure your daughters and your sisters are educated, okay? Because then with certain skills and knowledge, then they can do things smarter, they can contribute in terms of productivity, and then GDP rises, okay? So for Imad and the team, I think that your content, when you say about us, you start here, yes, with winner of, okay? But I think you should start with 1-2 sentences of the big picture, which is, something to the effect that one of the great obstacles or restraints, one of the things holding many countries in Africa back is the lack of awareness or the need to educate more of their girls and their women, okay? So that we have the other half of society contributing to the economy, something, okay? Now I've been talking for an hour and a half, so my mind isn't working as sharply, but we could come up with that kind of wording, and with hyperlink, to evidence. Okay, you could hyperlink to a UN report. Okay, look at this. I actually did a little search. No, not here. Can you see this little Google search that I did? I switched screens.
Yes, I can see. Yes,
right?
yes, yes.
All I did this morning, why educating African girls boosts GDP, okay? And look, all, World Economic Forum and others, global partner, it says how investing in girls' education would return billions in GDP. From the World Bank, not educating girls costs countries trillions of dollars. That is the big picture to me, okay? Because you guys are saying smaller on a grassroots level, hey, we want to break the cycle of poverty, but big picture, this is a win-win for society. So you're trying to tell all those who care about Africa and care about assisting Africa, hey, helping girls and women, helping to educate them, helping to arm them with skills is one of the most important, if not the most important thing you can do to help. And then you say, and there we are, and we are on the front lines of this battle. Okay? Tech Herfrica is on the front lines of that battle, okay? Which actually is a more positive story than look at this unfairness, okay? It's like there's a challenge and now you become a symbolic example. Are you, Tech Herfrica, are you the only African NGO focusing on African women and girls? And
No.
No, we're not. Okay. You are, of course, unique and special in your own way. Shoot, I have an eyelash in my eye.
Sorry.
Okay. Come get it out of there. So you are a symbolic example. You are one of dozens, one of hundreds. And guess what? What I'm suggesting to you is even media relations. I could give you some media relations ideas, how to pitch a story to the New York Times or the Guardian, the BBC, CNN, okay? Which is a story on what, if anything, is being done that in Africa, which is still being held back perhaps by not enough focus on educating girls and training women, okay? Maybe there's a trend of maybe more and more NGOs, more and more African NGOs are focusing on how to educate and train those girls and those women, okay? To help not just them and their families, but even help lift entire society itself, okay? And then you become a symbolic example. So then it's, for example, Tech Herfrica in Nigeria is doing XYZ. But if I show you how to pitch the New York Times or Washington Post or whomever, they need to be convinced that you guys are truly impactful as well. Not just, well, how do we know? All these NGOs say that they're doing wonderful, impactful work. How do we know? Okay. So actually, you guys, I believe, are part of a bigger and more important story. Okay. Do you see what I mean about how I would, first of all, frame it more broadly, what your battle is? Because then once you say that, as I was reading this, then you could say, and within that broader struggle or that broader challenge, let's use a nicer word, that broader challenge of educating girls and training women, there is the geographic divide between urban and rural. And then you have your nice research about that's, according to studies, urban women or urban men receive blank, blank, blank. Urban women receive blank, blank, blank. And guess who's left behind? Rural people in general, but especially rural women. Enter Tech Herfrica. That is our target audience, is that rural, underserved population. And that's part of your introduction. That's framing big picture. That's explaining why we matter, why the work that we do matters. Okay, that's, again, I'm your test audience. I'm reading that. I want to feel the importance of the work that you do. And I think you guys are doing important work, okay? You see what I mean? What do you think?
Yes, we do. Yes, amazing. Yes. So I'm sure the team noting all the points down. Fantastic idea. Thank you.
Okay.
And I'm sure Fumi as well is also still on the call,
Yes, I see her.
getting all the information for our team as well. Yes.
And she's
Thank
still
you,
awake.
Caitlin. Go ahead.
Still awake. That's good to see. You know, I'm recording and I can send you guys the link afterwards. So it's good that you're taking notes, but I can send a link after, okay? But also, you know, I'm just going to go through all these different comments. Okay? I want you to know as your test audience, okay? We're all grown-ups here, so I'll use one naughty word, which is I have my bullshit deflector out. Okay? The bullshit, when I'm online, the bullshit is flying at me left and right. I'm not saying you're bullshitting. But what I'm saying is I'm always looking at language and whether people are exaggerating language and whether you have evidence to support what you're saying, okay? For those of you listening in, for the CEOs listening in, beware. If you want to be believed, okay, then please listen to this, all right? When you say, even with these words, bridging the digital divide. Wow, sounds wonderful. You have evidence? You have proof that you're bridging the digital divide? Hey, you say you're breaking the cycle of poverty. Whoa, those are lofty words right there, okay? And I say simply the journalistic phrase is show me, don't just tell me. And you can say, Michael, how do we do that? Well, first, it's two things. First of all, what I would say is I would be more modest, more humble. I say we're helping to bridge the divide. We're helping to break the cycle, okay? Because I would say to you, first of all, do you have evidence? Do you have proof that you are truly doing all that? Show me, let me see it, okay? Don't BS me, especially if I'm a donor. You want my money? You want to then prove it. The second thing is, you'll say to me, but Michael, we do have evidence. We do have proof. Okay, then you know what I would do? I would insert hyperlinks right there to be reader friendly. Right there. Again, if we come up with a broader communication strategy where, hey, we need a story to show us bridging the digital divide. One human example, connecting dots to all our programs aimed at bridging the digital divide. We have that content. Now let's hyperlink right there to be reader friendly. So when they see that, oh, big talk. And then you say, hey, don't take our word for it. Click on it and you'll see for yourself that we're actually making progress, okay? Or breaking a cycle of poverty, hyperlink to now the content that shows that proves that, okay? But like I said, you can tone down the language with helping to bridge the digital divide or aiming to or striving to, okay? Like, all right, take a deep breath here, okay? You're not achieving as, I don't know, are you achieving truly as much as you say that you are, okay? And all of this, I say hyperlink the hell out of your text to be reader friendly. Because if you say, hey, we are providing them with access to financial services. Ooh, how are you doing that? And then you're basically saying with your website, you go find it on our website. We're not going to help you. It's out there. You're expecting the audience to like, I'm a busy person. Come on, help me out here. Show me a link. Then I can click and go directly to it instead. It's out there. Right? Maybe it's in the initiatives. Maybe it's in our media publications. You go out and find it, okay? No, you can be more effective with how you do that, okay? With all these, you could produce content. Show, don't just tell that you're contributing to food security, okay? Show how you are achieving or reducing, in improving social inclusion, okay? Or advancing digital equity. You see what I mean? It's like, because I got my bullshit deflector out and I'm sure your donors will be because they got their precious funds. They're not going to be throwing it around, okay? Right? And so also one more thing. Our ambitious goal is to reach 10 million women and girls. Whoa. 2030. You know what I want to see from you guys? Again, I'm thinking like a donor. I don't want to just hear about your dreams, your aspirations. Okay. Right there, I want to see we've already reached X number of thousands. Let me see something about results so far. Don't just tell me about dreams. Anyone can sit on their couch and talk about their dreams. Okay. How many years has your organization been around? You've been around for a few years, right? You have some achievements so far.
No, me too. 1 year, but yeah, we have the numbers. We have some numbers to put there.
Good, good, okay. Because one, I think a great storyline, a great narrative is we've achieved X, Y, and Z so far, yet challenges A, B, C remain. Okay, so meaning we've done some stuff, we've had some success, some impact, but we see what the challenges are moving forward. Because now it's 2024, 2030 is 6 years away. Damn, that's a big gap, right? How are you going to reach 10 million? What's your plan? Okay. And plus, by the way, we would even need to talk about, I saw in another document, you said our ambitious goal is to impact 10 million. Now here I see reach 10 million, okay? I think we would want to have a group discussion as to what is our definition of impact, right? Is it that, oh, they came to a training? Is that impact? That's an activity, but is that impact? No, impact is then they go back home. They take our advice. They take the skills we taught them and the technology we gave them, and they say, enough with my old way of doing things. I'm going to do something new, okay? And impact is then you show some difference, some positive difference in their lives, okay? You see what I mean with that, okay? Let me any questions about that? Because now it's 12:40. I don't know if I'm going too long with this.
I don't know about the team members, but yes, we see that. And so please just know, I think we had something initially. This was actually revised based on some amateur advice, but we thank God that we have some expert advice at this point. So yeah, it makes sense. It makes sense to our team. And so can you confirm that it makes sense to you as well?
I'm sorry, was that that last question for
No,
me?
that's what I saw here. And the team, can they confirm that it makes sense? They are
Yeah, I
feeling
would
it.
love to. I would love to hear from you guys. And by the way, don't disappear, please, because I'd like to take a group photo as well with everyone's camera on before we leave. But I'll just show you a few more examples, okay? The impact report I talked about, our initiatives. You know, I saw this line here with our initiatives. I mean, this would be, again, I see a lot of big talk. With all due respect, I see a lot of big talk, okay? And I don't see enough evidence. I know it's in your, you have some evidence in your annual impact report. You could hyperlink to it right there. But when you say that we are enabling women to live healthy and financially stable lives, I'd be happy to help you guys sit around a conference room table. All right, we need content to prove that they are now, because of us, living healthier lives. Whew. How do we prove that? Hey, now some of the women we're helping are able to buy medicine that they need for themselves, for their parents, for their children. Hey, we need to tell that story, okay? Or financially stable. Again, the fork in the road. Before, their lives were unstable. Their lives were unhealthy. Describe, okay? And then step by step, thanks to our training. You know what? This can be hard stuff to do, but it's not impossible. You see what I mean? That, again, if we want to do a workshop, 5 of you, let's identify your 5 most pressing content needs, okay, and how to achieve those, all right? Maybe one more. You know, but by the way, for Funmi, whoever is working on these, okay, when you have journals, when you have, oh, you had read her story, you had something nice about a woman you met. Oh, watch our
That's a
story.
YouTube video, yeah.
Yeah, watch our story. Okay. You know what? Again, I'm not just skeptical. Imagine your audience, again, with empathy, are busy. Okay. We must give our audience a reason to read. Okay. You say we were passing through a village, stopped by, right? And made the seller cry. Okay, maybe making someone cry would make me want to watch a video of you making her cry. But you know what? I would want to know, whoa, what is this story about? Okay, give me a reason for why exactly. That was it that then that she became one of our finest examples of one of our trainees who went from a life of struggle to one of empowerment. Maybe a sentence like that. Ooh, let me learn more. Let me click on that. Something, right? You have to, again, with empathy, imagine the audience. They're busy. We're being bombarded by content all the time, every day. And there's a lot of noise out there. You must grab the reader's attention, the viewer's attention, and give them a reason to click and to watch, especially from beginning to end, right? You see what I mean?
Yes.
Okay. And yes, it requires a new mindset, which is, all right, let's think through the words that we use, not just, all right, we need a little cut line, a little blurb there, okay? One more thing I want to talk about, just one last thing. Yes, the SDGs, okay? I'm glad to see that you have this. Obviously, the SDGs are sexy in their own way, right? But there's a deadline coming up with that too, of course, 2030. Everyone's now under pressure to deliver results, okay? Again, it's great to say, hey, we are part of a broader global movement. Our little NGO here in Nigeria, that we're not just working in a vacuum or in a void, we're part of a global movement trying to achieve these sustainable development goals for the betterment of humanity, okay? I want more than, oh, we're involved in number 1, number 2, number 4. I would want, show me the results so far. Again, like with that first page, that while we've achieved X, Y, Z so far, ABC challenges remain to achieve our goals with SDG number 1, SDG number 2 or 4. You see what I mean? You're approaching UN agencies. They're like, yeah. Anyone can say that they're working toward the SDG goals. Show us, don't tell us that you've actually have some results, some impact so far. Okay. And again, hyperlink. I like the idea of cross-referencing that, hey, here's our evidence, hyperlinking to your impact stories to show that, not just tell that. Okay?
Yes. Yes, Captain.
Aye. So, you know what? Maybe we've gone for an hour 45 now. I'm sure you're all very busy and with your new mindset to change your life, ready to get started. But maybe I should wrap up now. Any other questions? Lots of
Yes,
comments.
Esoya was just sending me a message that, oh my God, we need so much money so we can pay this man well to teach us properly.
Well,
So I was just telling her that I already got the rate. I was just waiting for all of us to hear this today to see the value. So that some people can go and sell their human hair wig to pay Michael J properly.
I mean, I like the sound of that, but you know, I mean, I see a way to do this. I like for my workshops, for my training to be sustainable, right? So it's not just right now I'm giving a lot of abstract, theoretical, oh, we should do this, we should do that, blah, blah, blah. But I want to be able to work shoulder to shoulder with you to make it sustainable, which is then to lead each of you through this process of creating that content where then you will have something ready to publish on your website, right? It's like they say about don't just give a man fish, but show him how to fish, right? And so yeah, that's the kind of training I'd want to do. But I think it also would start with, all right, big picture. Let's look at maybe an annual communications calendar. Let's talk about what activities you have coming up. What are your communications opportunities, right? Like, okay, well, no. First of all, what are our needs, right? We're looking for money in these areas, right? We have these opportunities to create the content. Let's think smart and strategically about how exactly to do that. And then start small. Like let's start with 5 good quality pieces of content. And the beauty of that is that content can remain on your website, social media channels, annual report for 2-3 years. And then you build on top of that foundation. Let's pour the concrete of some nice foundation of the most impactful content we can create, and then build upward. Okay? That sort of thing. Any other questions?
Yeah, so I'm not
Please.
okay, so I'm not saying questions now, but I would like people on the call for me. There's also someone that I really love you to meet as well. She's on the call, but she's at the gym, so she'll speak to you later. But for me and everybody else, just unmute your mic, few minutes, just really share what this has done to you, what you're looking forward to, and how you think you want to proceed with this. It's just to give feedback. When somebody has given us this kind of food for thought, let's also feed him with feedback,
and
all of that.
And don't feel like you need to kiss my butt with praise, please.
Of course, don't worry about that.
Of course.
My people are very blunt.
I hate that. Go ahead.
They're very blunt, so don't worry about that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, so guys, let's hear from you, and let's see if this has helped, and to what extent it's helped you, and what you may like going forward. Yeah. So for me, yeah, take the mic.
Okay. Thank you so much, Imade, and thank you, MJ, for the session so far.
Yeah.
So I've pretty much just been writing my notes.
Yeah.
But the biggest for me in terms of just main takeaway, create simple and compelling stories. Simple, compelling, don't oversay it. Say it as it is, but say it in a way that gets the audience to move in a direction you want them to also go, which hopefully is also the direction you want them to go. So for me, there's a lot of thoughts around clarity. What exactly am I trying to say? Why am I saying it? And how best should I say it so that the person understands what I'm trying to get them to do? So for me, I think the key words would be simple and clear. So as
just to clarify, can I just say one thing, just real quick, that the formula I've come up with, it starts with a strategy to think through, right? The who, what, why, where. I mean, the who, it starts with, okay, like you said, to lead your audience, right, where you want them to go, but they need to be open-minded to being led in that direction. But then it's core message, okay, plus credible evidence. So core message supported by credible evidence. Okay, we have those things, right? And then wrapped into what kind of story? Who can, to tell the story of someone then on the front lines, they can be, we funnel that through the prism of that person on the front lines, okay? So message plus evidence plus compelling, simple, compelling story. Okay. So really it's packed with, it all serves a purpose strategically. I'm sorry, go ahead, Funmi. Go ahead.
Yeah. So for me, just so I can also give space to others, I think in terms of next steps, definitely it'd be good to have some sort of session where we can break it down a bit more. As long as, of course, it's considerate, given where most of us are as founders who are serving right on the field, it can be quite tough. So just that quiet session, we sit through it together with the team, Imade. I think I'm open to that. That'll be good. Something to just put in mind as you come in is, remember that because we're non-profits, we rely a lot on volunteers who also have other obligations. And so when it gets to communications, either the burden sits on the director or the trustees or just one or two other volunteers. So it can be tricky to put all of this together. And also from the cost angle too, we have to think carefully around that so that we can both achieve the desired results. And we're on a long journey. We're committed to developing Africa. So while we might feel new and fresh today, we have decades of work and impact to still create. So for me, I foresee a relationship that is quite long-term. And so that's my position on this. Thank you very much. Thank you, Madi. And thank you, Michael.
Great. Can I just say one thing? Can I just say, because you just made an interesting point that then if we were around a conference room table and you said volunteers, yes, like I said before, then you could imagine that, you know what, we need a piece of content regarding our volunteers, not just to say how important, if that's a core message, how important they are, but also what they get out of it. So maybe it would be about how this is good for my heart and my spirits, you know, to be able to contribute to my community, my society, you know, something like that. We would think strategically about, we need to give people a reason to volunteer, or to continuously be attracting more volunteers, right? So I could imagine the need for a nice, compelling piece of content about the volunteers, right? And your impact on volunteers.
But Michael, but she also said something that we discussed the first day we spoke. She also mentioned the need for the long-term relationship between our organizations and you. And we already had that conversation.
Yes.
So I'll just take it further after. Call.
You know what? I'll tell you the truth. That I lived in Southern Africa for 4 years, and I wasn't ready to leave Africa. I miss Africa. Then my ex-wife got a job in Beijing, so I followed my kids to Beijing, and so I'm always happy to maintain any kind of connection with Africa, and so I'd be happy to continue the relationship with you guys, no matter what I'm doing. I'm in New York. I'm still of pretty good health, so I plan to be around for a while. And so, yes, definitely, let's keep the relationship going. And you know what? At some point, maybe one of your donors can fly me over, because then we can do some shoulder-to-shoulder content, maybe video, or if you say, hey, we have some key programs, we have some serious results and impact to bring to life. And so maybe it makes sense to let's do it so that we create some content that lasts for a few years, right? To really do it well and professionally, almost like mini documentary film form, okay? That sort of thing. So I'm here when you need me, okay?
Okay, thank you. Any more questions from the team? We need to wrap this up. I saw her, I know you're at the meeting already, that's fine. But anyone else? I can see comments. They love the class, Michael. It makes lots of sense. They appreciate the class. They're looking forward to a more in-depth long-term arrangement. We see all of that. Anything else? Okay.
Last thing. Well, I see Uyanga has a raised hand. Is that a raised hand?
Yes, he has raised his hand. Yes.
I also want everyone to please turn on the camera so we can take a group photo, please.
Okay, camera, group photo. Yeah, we go.
Go ahead. But go ahead. Let me hear from Uyanga, please. Let me hear you.
Okay, mine is not a question. It's just a word of appreciation. You know, when you started the class, I would want to call it a class. It's a wonderful session. Thank you so much. When you started with 3 key objectives. I was looking forward to see how you were going to link the whole thing to what we're discussing. And at first, you started by saying that as an organization, we have to prove that we are who we say we are.
Yes.
And the second was prove that you're as good as you say you are.
Right.
And lastly, the need for empathy. And I've seen this throughout the whole discussion session, going through the formula, thinking through, and all that. And mostly it was very practical, because I was seeing how you actually went down to the website, showed where we're lacking, where have to develop on. And most imperatively, I really appreciate the bringing forward to us the bigger picture. I think I learned a lot from that. Most importantly, using one story to talk about a dozen others. That's something I've really taken home, and that's really a change of mindset, helping to think before communicating. That would also contribute. You know, everything still falls back to the formula of thinking through who is the audience, what exactly do you want to say, why is it important that you have to say them, and how are you going to put the story across to them. I think having that mindset would definitely drive a much more compelling story with empathy, and story with purpose, which will have more impact. So that's just my way of saying thank you. And of course, today you have not just showed us, you have told us what to do and where to improve. So I appreciate that.
Well, you're very welcome. I'm touched to hear your words. I mean, look, my goal is also to achieve impact in my own way, you know, on an individual level. So I'm happy to work with an open and receptive audience, as you all have been. And by the way, the good news is about you guys is I do believe in you. I do believe you have evidence. Okay. Imagine when I work with some organizations or companies that may not have evidence. They may be bullshitting. Okay. Then that's a different kind of communication. That's crisis communication. Okay. And I don't want to work with such clients, by the way. Okay. I want to work with clients whom I feel are doing good. So you have the evidence out there. It's just a question of detective work. Like, okay, we need to recognize what is evidence and then how to bring that to light in the most effective, persuasive way possible, right? So that's one of the challenges I enjoyed. That's also journalistic, which is detective work is, hey, a crime took place here. How can we prove who done it? Okay. So you guys are having some impact. It's a question of recognizing what is impact and then how to bring it to light most effectively. Okay. Even colorfully, compellingly. Okay. So we'll talk about the next steps. This is just the first step. All right. So how about everyone turn on the cameras? We take some photos. Just a few. Okay. And of course, then I'll write something for my LinkedIn platform, and then you guys can use that for your own website if you want. Okay. Okay. All right. Everyone's emerging from the shadows. Any other faces? Is that it? Come on, I see 17 participants. Okay. Shap, shap. Should I take a photo now? Oh, more, a few more. Let's fill in that bottom row. Let's at least get a dozen on here. All right. Cool. And all right, now let me take a few, okay? Because you never know who's gonna have their eyes closed and all that, okay? What? Wait, someone disappeared? Should I go now? All right, ready? Wait, a few more. Good with the names is good. Hold on. Wait, how do we get the names back on the screen? Shoot, hold on. One thing I've learned about screenshots, you gotta take a handful, make sure. All right. Oh, Hezron, it does not want to be left out. Here, let's do one more. Okay. Smiles, everyone. Pretend like you're enjoying yourself. All right. Okay. Thank you, everyone, for your attention. And see you next time. Okay. It's not goodbye.
Thank you.
No
Thank you.
tears.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so
Okay.
much, everyone.
My pleasure. See you guys. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank
you so
Thank
much.
you.
Bye-bye. See ya.
Bye.
Bye-bye.